Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the first episode of HLTV Confirmed, the brand new show from all of us here at the home of competitive Counter-Strike. In this show I'll be talking to players, coaches, talent, fans, everyone involved in this beautiful little scene of ours. And yes, we know that the name is a meme, but we thought, hey, why not embrace the meme, make it something worthwhile, something that you, the community, have come to connect with HLTV whenever the name is brought up. For this first show, we have quite a few things lined up for you. First off, I sat down and talked with Magisk, the 20-year-old talented Dane who seems to have found his perfect home in Astralis. The team is looking dominant as ever, and he's been the missing puzzle after a turbulent time where he was kicked from North and spent an up and down period in Optic in North America. In the interview we talk about his maturing as a person and how he's maintained a certain emotionally charged playstyle and personality. Now we split that interview up into two parts, the first one coming shortly and the second one to be the last segment of the show. In between those parts we're going to be taking a look at how we pick and choose our EVPs or exceptionally valued players of big events. We're going to be delving into the EVPs of the ESL Pro League Season 6 finals in Dallas a few weeks back, and we're going to explore the stats they managed in the tournament. After that we quizzed the players about Dust2 being back in the map pool. It's been back for almost 2 months now, so we asked them how they feel about that and if they've seen any new strategies on the map so far. And after taking a look at the new Dust2, we're going to be back with the second part of the interview with Magisk. Now, let's get this show on the road. Alright, we're here with Magisk in his lovely home in Aarhus, taking a little break between events. What's life like for a Magisk boy?
I mean, it's pretty good. I don't really have anything to complain about right now. I mean, getting into the team was a nice opportunity, and I think it's a one in a lifetime chance. So I'm doing everything I can to prove my worth and be a good teammate and learn from my mistakes in the past.
So in the past you've been labeled as quite the emotional player, and we certainly talked before about that. How is that now in a system that's a little more maybe strict?
Actually, I think my emotions is starting to benefit me more. It's sometimes I can get frustrated, but I think everyone will have those moments. But I just think I've learned that if I can control my emotions into something better and using that emotion to like play better, I think it's definitely improving because I'm not yelling as much as I did before. And that's simply because sometimes you can get out of the zone if you do that too much. Of course, there's going to be moments where you just do that and you sit and yell and you're really happy, and there needs to be room for that. But if you do it too much, everyone on the team can get a bit out of the zone. And as an example, if I win a round doing an insane clutch or something like that, I will be yelling and cheering for myself and the team.
Will too, right?
Yeah, our coach Danny, he's definitely gonna be cheering as well. But sometimes it's gonna be like chaotic in the buy round, and sometimes you might actually miss making a plan up because everyone was cheering and stuff like that. So if you do that too much, you're gonna end up like talking in the freeze time where you should be talking about the plans. You will be cheering and yelling, and it could actually hurt the next round. So
even though you did great.
Yeah, even though you did great. So
you talked about you're more structured with your emotions too. Now, what's been your problem before?
I think I've been sometimes I've been too harsh against myself. Like if I had a bad game, I would be blaming myself. Not even my teammates or anything. I would be blaming myself for playing bad and feeling that I'm letting down the team, and that's gonna. And before that would like hurt my game even more. So if I had a bad start to a game, I would have a tough time getting back into it and start playing good. And I think that's where I've improved, and I've had a lot of focus on it. That even though I play a bad game, I need to work on just helping my teammates. I might be really bad in that game, but if I can help my teammates with communication, sacrificing myself, tell one of my teammates, let's go here and trade kill me. So you can trade me and I'll go first. You know, if I have a very bad game or or maybe just drop an AK and take a C set instead, even though the C set is almost better at this point. But still, it's just like focus on helping the team if you play bad. And I think like in the past, if I had a bad game, I wouldn't do that stuff. I would make sure that I would get into better positions. Like some people would maybe even call it like kind of baiting. But I think that's just that was just the way of me, because I was a young guy. Like I'm still young, but I was really new into the scene, and you wanted to prove everyone that you were good enough. And if you had a bad game, you would be thinking, oh, what do they think of me now, and stuff like that. So I just think it came with like experience and learning that even though you have a bad game, people are not gonna hate you from having one bad game. But in general, like if you have many bad games, that's where they will start like being toxic or calling out stuff and stuff like that. But as long as you help your teammates, it's much more worth than just trying to kind of bait your teammates to get into better positions because you have a bad game.
Let's talk about the emotional part. There were certainly some examples of it. I remember the Boston Major last year in Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah.
And then there was a story recently that came out from the VP coach after Krakow.
Yeah.
You know, the crowd is definitely pumping VP up, but you have to look at it from the other side of things, right? It can be very intimidating. These players are still quite young. Cajun and MSL, they've been around for a long period of time. AZ's played in front of these crowds too, but Config and Magic, who are the two stars, it's not that they didn't perform. They were doing fine, I suppose. It's just, you know, it's still a different world for them. I still think they have a lot. When you look at the pedigree and the experience on VP in front of these crowds versus that of North, it's worlds apart, right?
I don't know if that was true, but he told us you had obviously a rough time after that.
Yeah.
How's that affected you so few years in the scene and having to cope with that? Because it obviously to us seems that you have your emotions on your sleeve.
I do. That's for sure. I mean, I honestly can't remember if I had tears. It might be true. It's possible, probably true. I had tears. But I mean, it was. VP, the guys from VP have always been nice to me. They took care of me, and they gave me a beer after I got benched, and they were really nice, and they were talking with me. And I mean, those guys have so much experience, so they were trying to tell me that like you're so young and you should just learn from the mistakes and move on, and you probably just deserve better than this team if they don't want you on the team and stuff like that. So they were really nice, and of course I appreciate that, especially from those guys, because those persons have been watching my whole career, like even before my career. My career have not been that long, so I've been following them since the first major in CS:GO, and been my idols as well, because if you can be so good and be on the top for such a long time, it's definitely because you work hard, and then you have the mental to win the big games as well. So
but it's certainly a big leap from being in Krakow and then this feeling that you have now. Did those two episodes where you obviously were very hurt from your own play in Atlanta, where you didn't win as you were supposed to against VP actually, and then certain other substantial consequences with the team North in after the Krakow match. Did you use those things in a positive way? How do you work with that?
Yeah, I mean the first major in Atlanta, where in my opinion, we should probably have won that game, but that's life, and that was definitely very tough for not only me, because I was playing a really good game, and there's no doubt about that, but it is after all a team game, so it did hurt everyone on the team as well. I know that many on the teams that they really hurt them, that couldn't step up at that time, and it could have been a potential really good tournament for us if we had won that game. So I know it hurt them as well, and I just think after that tournament, I think I was not using. I was actually really hurt inside, and even the tournaments after, because it was my first major ever, and in that position, it can be tough for a young guy at that time to handle that. It's a really big disappointment, because it's that tournament you really want to perform in, and you really want to try and win. So that was very tough for me, and I think my game kind of got hurt as well from that, and I didn't use that in a positive way in the beginning. I was letting myself down, and instead of using it as something good, because I did play a really good tournament and I did play a really good quarterfinal.
There was a record and a half, I remember.
Yeah, and I should have just taken that with me and be like, well, if I can do that in a quarterfinal of the biggest tournament, I can definitely like keep improving and be a better player. But I kind of let myself down in that way. I was overthinking and just, yeah, it was a tough time. And I just think in Krakow, I think the team just decided that it was about time to try something new, because the results hadn't been there, yeah. So I think...
And you were obviously not in a mental state.
I think I was just disappointed in the results of the whole team, and I think we had the potential to be so much more, but we kind of, every time we got into a quarterfinal, semi-final or something like that, we would always play really bad. It was like the only times we would like win, it would be like if me and Config was having the best game of our lives, and I just think it might have been just because the whole game was like set up around us at that time. So if we didn't perform, it was gonna be very tough to win those important games. And I think it was just like a team decision that they had to try and do something else, because it didn't work and we didn't win any titles, which is why, I mean, we were like a top team. We were supposed to be one of those like top 5 teams in our heads, and we just never like lived up to that.
And obviously now you're doing better, so the next question might be stupid, but the way that you're situated now with the great play you're showing in the team and yourself, did you think those emotional states or those experiences can help you now, and how so?
I think it has made me a better like player in that way. I'm learning to control that, and I'm getting more experience. It's not like if we have like a best of 5 against FaZe, just like in Sydney, it's quite tough losing two maps in a row like that in overtime and being so close. That can be very tough, and you could be, normally I would probably be really tilted back in the days, and I would be very mad about myself because I was playing bad. But at this time, I think I've just had so much experience, and I've learned from the past that it's always possible to come back. Like we're not playing that bad that we can't win against these guys. It's just about having to perform as a team now, that we have to stop making stupid mistakes, and then we're gonna win. But sometimes you just have days off as a team. But at least for myself, I was still feeling emotional, that it was in a good way, and I was using that to pump up myself and the whole team.
Okay, that's it for the first part of our interview with Magisk. The second part is coming up shortly. Right now though, we take a deeper look at one of the key features of HLTV coverage. It's the EVPs, or exceptionally valued players of big events, that we pick and choose. In this segment, we'll be looking at some of the stats that the players managed at the ESL Pro League Season 6 finals in Dallas a few weeks back, and also show you some highlights that correlate with the stats to show you how we pick the EVPs. Let's get into it. First up on our list is Device, who had a really strong showing at the event, almost getting the MVP award, which ultimately went to his teammate Dupree. Now, why is he on the EVP list? He was hard to kill, had few deaths per round, was very impactful, and he had a lot of opening kills per round. Let's take a look at the second rating here, the high impact one, 1.43. This is from the Grand Finals, Map 1, 15th round on Dust 2. Impact rating is all about staying alive while also getting damage in, getting assists and getting kills. And this is a pretty good example of that. He waits for the first player to come out and falls back with a flash over the wall. He opts to go onto the site to defend because he realizes this is probably a rush from Liquid. Now he fails these next 2 shots with the AWP, but still manages to stay alive even though he's hit down from pit.
This is the kill he lands on Taco, and realizing that he's hit Naf behind him, he throws the Mollo and also the HE grenade to see if he can land a kill, which he does. Now this is 3 kills while staying alive in a round, and that's why he gets a high impact rating. Number 2 is Astralis in-game leader, Glaive. Yeah, as you've probably figured out, Astralis are pretty much gonna dominate this list. Let's take a look at why Glaive is our number 2. He had a flawless match against the rivals in phase. He did a lot of damage throughout the tournament, and also he netted quite big amount of assists. I want to take a look at the first point here. He had a 1.76 rating against phase, and this play on Inferno should show you why. Now, even though we just saw him get wrecked by Astralis, the next player on our list is the Bosnian superstar Nico from FaZe Clan. He was the highest rated player of the whole event. He killed a lot of players and he did a lot of damage. And regarding that last part, let's take a look of a beautiful highlight, probably the most well known from the event already. And one way to tick up your average damage, a 1 versus 5 ace versus SK. Coming in at number 4, we have Russian breakout player Electronic from Na'Vi. He was one of the best T players at the event with a 1.41 terrorist rating. He was consistent, never falling below average, and he was deadly, getting 1.81 kills every round. Next up is the first North American player to grace our EVP list, Liquid Star Elish. He was the top fragger of the event with 244 kills in total. He had the most headshots with 112, and he was also one of the most assisting players with 49. Let's take a look at the headshot capabilities of the young American star. And that brings us to the last remaining player on this EVP Dallas list. It's the newest addition to the Astralis Danish super team, Magisk. He was very hard to kill, he had a 53 KDD difference, and he clutched a lot of important rounds for his new team. Let's take a look at the survivability aspect of his game. This is from the matchup against FaZe, where he kills 4 and survives with just about 40 HP.
Okay, so those were the EVPs of Dallas, or at least some of them. We hope that you got a little bit more insight into how and why we picked the players for EVPs. Now it's time to take a look at one of the most iconic map in CS, Dust 2. At Star Series a few weeks back, we were treated with quite a few pics of the old map, or new map. We quizzed the players about their feelings about the map being back in the pool. Have they seen any new strategies? What do they feel about it? Is there a certain kind of nostalgia attached to playing Dust 2? Let's see what they said.
I guess it just feels good to see it in the map pool again, just because it's definitely a very a map that you can be pretty aggressive on. You can just try win the Angels, I guess, and it's very puggy. But yeah, it's good to have it back.
It is a fun map to play. I really like it. It puts the players in a lot of situations for really pretty highlights, at least, right?
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of memories playing that map. Mostly those are bad because we were in my previous teams kind of known for choking on that map, so we lost a lot of winnable matches, and that's why I kind of have flashbacks every time I played on the certain positions. But we have to just adjust to it, right? And we have to just play it more, I guess, to see how it really feels. But for me, definitely it has some definitely nostalgic.
Dust 2 has always been a friendly map to my teams usually that we've had in the past, but I really expected them to make it different. It seems like it's exactly the same, so there's a lot of the same strategies that we've seen from before. There's only a few minor changes, like just timings, I guess. Like, for example, the timings on Dust 2 long, that's a little bit different, like the spawn-wise, but yeah, I wish they did something different. Yeah.
So far I have seen mostly the same things, but I have to say in practice I saw some variations of old strats that were kind of unique and it wasn't used on Dust 2. Let's say about long control, for example, I think it's really important to take it as soon as you have spawn as T side, because it's really hard for cities to stop it even with counter flashes and everything. I don't know, it just feels like whenever you have a chance, you should take long control on the T side.
I think it's a sick map. There's definitely some highlights I remember, like Cajun B at the car, Freiberg dropping off Cat and killing the guys. I think it was like Hellraiser or something.
Still lots of money in Dosa. They'll still be able to afford whatever for the last round. And this is going to be really crucial now what happens here on Catwalk.
Oh, there's Freiberg. Freiberg! Both kills! Adrian comes in and Freiberg with 3! This is it! He gets the spray! Freiberg, they finally shut
So there's a lot of history to it, and I think there'll be more history as time passes.
Okay, so it's time to get back to the interview with Magisk. We left off with him being picked up by Astralis and finding a new home. He's still an emotional player even though he's matured, and he still uses some personality traits in his playing, some might say, that can be both an advantage and a hindrance as a pro player. Let's see what he says. We've talked about maybe maturing emotionally and as a player with more experience, but you still have that little zest in you. You still do some things that are maybe a little bit showing off your personality, like there's certainly still some, maybe some will call it BM. Yeah. You still sometimes shoot at a body, or there was some teabagging issues, and I think there was a little incident with the North logo as well the other day. Try to tell me about why you still use that, or how you use it, why you still do it.
I mean, it's not really BM. I think it's more like a way of showing that you're happy about winning a round. It's never against, like, it's never personal. It's never because I never do it to one certain player. It's never because of that. It's more like showing that I really care about the game, and I really I'm playing to win tournaments. I'm not playing to be second. I'm playing to win, and that's all I want. And I don't care about being second or being the last in the tournament. I want to be number one, and that's why I show emotions, and I think that's a good thing as well. And I think it's a good thing for the team as well that you have one guy that shows emotion and is able to like kind of not like hype and be happy and just like kind of yelling a bit to pump the other guys as well. I think that's good for the team, and I think they. At least from what I've heard from them, they like that, and they want me to maybe even do it even more, because I can be really hyped. And I mean, yeah, I did do that with the North logo, and honestly, that was actually not on purpose with the North logo. On Overpass you have that where you line up nades from as a T outside A to do like an A execute.
Yeah.
As a CT, you can like use a spray logo, and that's like a blue sign where you normally line up with. So I actually was using the North logo because it was blue. And then when I clutched, I just did like a spray logo, and I didn't even think about when I shot at it. But it was.
But you were actually defusing the bump and came back.
Yeah, that was because I wanted to do like a logo just, and like afterwards I felt kind of bad because there's no doubt that they having a rough period right now, and I actually think it's kind of sad, and I actually want them to do even better.
So let it be known, the North thing was a mistake. Heard it here first. Still look good though. Yeah. But you said some of your teammates and maybe even the higher ups actually like when you do that kind of stuff too. So there was no choice really, but you had already won the round.
Yeah, we had won the round, that's for sure. That was, I mean, also that round was pretty chaotic. I was running inside the smoke for like 15 seconds.
And it was nice inside the smoke as well.
Yeah. But I think it's about, sometimes like you yell and you say something funny. Like you say something that, it can be anything. It can be like just funny and stuff like that. And I think it's just gonna make the team being in a good mood and make them laugh and have fun while it's still being very serious. And I think it's important that you can still have fun while playing, because if you don't have fun playing, you're definitely not gonna be a good player or a team. So it's important to have some fun in the team, like behind the scenes. And I think that hyping up can help that, and just being in a good mood and everyone is pumped and saying funny stuff. And if you win an important round, everyone is gonna be very happy. And I think that's important. And I think they kind of missed that before in the team, that they have like a hype guy. So even if I'm playing bad, I will still be hyping the whole team if they do a sick round and stuff like that. So I think I think they're happy about that, and they like it.
And sometimes maybe it's also about getting in the head of your opponent. I mean, without being really able, obviously, but just
of course
saying to him, I got your number.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the tournament, they can't really hear us anymore. Yeah. So it's like, it's more.
If you BM someone, let's say you knife him or shoot the body after he's killed, maybe there's a reaction.
I mean, he might be thinking, what an idiot. And he might be a bit more tilted getting knifed for sure. But I think at this point everyone have tried it so many times that they don't really care about that. I think it's more like a team-wise. It's more like for your own sake, like for the team and yourself. I actually think, at least for myself, I don't really care if someone is like shooting at my body or like doing a spray logo or stuff like that. It doesn't really hurt me anymore, because it happens so many times now that you're used to it. And I think it's just, as I said, it's just for the team actually, like getting yourself in the zone and being hyped.
But obviously there's also, every time this happens, there's a reaction from the community. You know, it's up on Reddit, or people will be talking about it in interviews. And how would you say, I mean, considering these things that you utilize them, you use them actually very specifically, how would you say your relationship is to the community?
I think, in some ways, I think people are starting to realize that I'm actually a nice guy. I did make my mistakes in the past about saying stupid stuff on Twitter and stuff like that. But I've learned my mistakes, and I'm definitely thinking about everything I write on social media, and just in general, just trying to hurt no one, because that's never been my intention, to like hurt people and being an idiot. Even though some of my like past mistakes you could read it as just me being an idiot and trying to be like hurting other people, even though that's never really been my intentions. I think it's just being a young guy on social media, and sometimes you write something that you never really thought about how people would actually be able to understand it. And yeah, that's I think that's definitely something I've learned, and I think I'm just trying to be a nice guy in general, and respect everyone, because that's you get way like you get like way further in in game but also outside the game with the other pros, when you respect them and you don't talk bad about them, because I mean in the end of the day it doesn't really make a difference if you talk bad about someone, you're gonna be the guy who's getting the most trash talk anyway. So you might as well, if you think something bad about something, or you might think someone is annoying or anything like that, you might as well just keep it for yourself, because it's not gonna help me, it's not gonna help him, it's not gonna help the community, even though they like reading about that stuff. Yeah.
So keep it to shooting at bodies.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes teabagging a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes.
That's your limit.
Yeah. I mean, I think the community at this point, they know that it's, at least I hope so, that they know it's actually not personal, and it's not because I hate someone. I mean, honestly, that's actually, I don't even hate anyone on the pro scene, because I actually think everyone is so nice. Of course, some people can be a bit, not arrogant, but they have what is the word, like, you have like they have their own personality, and that's a good thing. And I think everyone has their ways of handling certain things.
People are probably saying the same about you.
Yeah, exactly. I have my personality, and a lot of people see me as an emotional guy, and that's kind of my personality. I like to show emotions, and I think it's good that we have different personalities in the community. And definitely, like a guy like Fallen, he has a good personality. Like he's been helping so many people and doing a lot of stuff for the community, and that's like different from person to person, how you like to like be as a, like, it's gonna be like how you is as a person. It's also gonna be like the personality that you gonna try and show like to the community, and I think it's good that we have different personalities.
So wrapping things up, Emil, you're certainly at the top now, and there's also going to be a lot actually, tournaments in the summer here.
A lot of tournaments.
Where do you see yourself as a team right now? Obviously everyone is trying to figure you out, and probably want to take you down in the best of 5 finals, probably. I know certainly one team that wants to.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be like this summer?
I mean, there's no doubt that getting to the top is definitely very hard, and it requires a lot of work. But honestly, it requires even more work to actually stay there, because as you said, we are the team that people wants to take down right now. We are the team that people wants to beat the most, because right now we are the best team in the world right now. But that might change in a few months, because everyone is gonna analyze us, anti-strat us, and just, sometimes it's people just play so much better against the team that they just really want to beat. And that's just how CS is, and it's definitely gonna be tough moving forward, because we have to work hard. I mean, but if we can continue the path that we have been doing up to this point, and keep doing that and keep working hard, I'm sure we can stay on the top, and hopefully on the #1 spot. But
yeah, there's still a while to the major.
Yeah, I mean that's where you want to be, right? You want to be winning the major, because the major is the major, and that's something everyone is dreaming of. At least myself, that's like the one tournament that I just really want to try and win. So I'm definitely with the team going to work hard into those tournaments, and hopefully we can keep working, not working, but staying here and just play good.
Thank you, Emil.
No problem.
Okay guys, that's it for the first episode of HLTV Confirmed. Thanks so much for watching, and we hope you'll be back for the next episodes. Be sure to leave us your feedback so we can do even better. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.